This is the fourth scenario that is the worst for the stock market. So the situation may actually be a lot worse than we thought, and there will be the red wave, and now that the Democrats are out of the way, the bubble could actually inflate to incredible sizes. Welcome to the Coin Post. Do you already know who won the US presidential election? Right, both have won. At least Donald Trump and Joe Biden said so, although no winner has been declared yet. But the main surprise that may come out of this election is the so-called red wave. And if you've been following this topic before the election, then you know everyone was talking about the blue wave. But now everyone's changed their mind and now we're expecting the red wave. So who's gonna win? Why has the wave color changed and will the stock market collapse? This is what we're gonna find out right now, after a little experiment. I'm sure this video is extremely important to everyone in the US and outside, so just give us a thumbs up so that YouTube shows it to as many users as possible. Let's start. Elections in the US has been the hottest topic in the world of finance for the past few weeks. They've already taken place, but the vote count is not yet complete, and therefore we're still waiting for the winner. But there have been a lot of statements, so let us review the analysts' opinions and the candidates' actions. As Trump and Biden said at the beginning, they'd already declared their victory, saying they had no doubt that when the vote count was over, they would be the first. Trump's rhetoric is quite different though, as he's calling to halt vote counts sent by mail and declare him as the president. He's also threatening to appeal to the Supreme Court of the United States, where the Republican Party now has a majority. Although the court was supposed to be an independent body, how would it be independent if candidates were appointed by politicians? A total of 100 million Americans used the opportunity to vote early. And it's a record-breaking number, and it means that the final count may take several more days. Thus, we're moving towards uncertainty. When the vote count is still incomplete, politicians go close to each other, and no one's willing to give up. This is the fourth scenario that is the worst for the stock market, when they will be taking the decision for months. When the same happened the last time, the stock market collapsed 10%. That's what we're gonna talk about now. The week before the election, S&P 500 and other American indices dropped dramatically because all those who didn't want to risk selling stocks took a wait-and-see position. Now, this week, the market must go in the opposite direction because the risks of uncertainty in the election are already in the price. S&P 500 grew on Monday and Tuesday. On Wednesday, the US market couldn't decide about a direction, but it's still leaning towards the green zone. So until the political battle unfolds in full force, and it's announced that one of the candidates doesn't recognize the election results, we can expect the growth to continue. And then, if it comes to the no-winner scenario, the situation may change drastically, because in addition to the 10% drop that happened the last time, now we have one more problem. COVID-19 is still here, and politicians could be digging in their heels and not adopt the second relief package. Let me remind you that when S&P 500 hit a new record at the beginning of September, then it was sliding down for almost a month due to the absence of the second package. So the situation may actually be a lot worse than we thought, and there will be the red wave that nobody expected. Let me remind you that if you like this clip, it will help many people to learn the truth about the election, and we're moving on to the main topic of the video. So it's generally assumed that red is the color of the Republican Party and blue is the color of the Democrats. Before the election, many people feared or were preparing for the so-called blue wave. It's when Biden becomes president and the Democrats take the majority in both houses of Congress. In such a case, markets were promised a fall due to increased taxes for corporations and the rich and strict quarantine measures. Trump threatened that Biden would shut down the US for years. But what do we see today by the preliminary vote counts? The US electoral system is complicated, but in short, Biden doesn't have enough electoral votes to win. Even if he wins in the states he's leading. Trump still has less electoral votes, but he's ranked top in a few states, and if those results don't change, Donald will remain president for the second term. With regard to Congress, preliminary results so far indicate that Democrats risk losing a majority in the House of Representatives, and things are not going well for the Senate either, even though they had a good chance of winning before the election. So we could end up with the Republican Party getting their president into the White House and getting the majority in both houses of Congress. So is it good or bad? It's supposed to be super profitable for the stock market because during Trump it was growing beautifully, and now that the Democrats are out of the way, the bubble could actually inflate to incredible sizes. But I would make a few reservations here. Firstly, the second relief package offered by the Republicans is twice as low as the Democrats', which means less money and less growth. Secondly, from September to December 2018, S&P 500 had a strong correction due to the trade war with China. Trump intends to escalate this confrontation, and he also intends to launch an economic confrontation with the EU. So I would add that Trump is definitely not going for a third term, as in the US 2 terms are considered a maximum, and there are no discounts for nobody. Hence, it makes no sense to keep markets from collapsing. Especially given the possible full support in Congress, there is no fear of a second impeachment. Subscribe to the channel please, and ring the bell so you don't miss the new episodes. And also share in the comments who you think is gonna win the election and why. And that's it for today. Thanks for watching. It's the Coin Post channel. Subscribe and get enlightened.